Hello and welcome back to Clownfish TV. It is me, Geeky Sparkles, and it's only me today. Sorry. But we're going to talk about another shift in the executives at the Walt Disney Company. This time, we're going to lose the head of Imagineering, president of Walt Disney Imagineering, Barbara Bouza. She's leaving. She's only been in Imagineering less than 4 years. She's only been in charge of Imagineering for like 2.5 years. And now she's leaving to be replaced with somebody that people were very excited returned last year. So before we get into it any further, please like and subscribe. And I'll give you woohoo. Woohoo. And we're going to talk about this. So Barbara Bouza is the president of Disney Imagineering. She came on in June of 2020 to Imagineering. And then she was made president in November 2021. So she wasn't there very long and suddenly she's in charge. Anyway, Disney is seeming like they're making a lot of changes. They're trying to redirect their focus as of late. And she hasn't exactly been popular with some of the things that she's done. But she was in charge and she was president. She replaced Bob Wise in November 2021. And then people were very, very excited because Bruce Vaughn came back last year and he was going to be the chief creative officer for Imagineering working with her. Well, now she's leaving and he's being brought in as president of Walt Disney Imagineering. So it's going to get very interesting. If you look at Barbara Bouza on her write-up on the Disney Experiences app, they're talking about how she's the president of Walt Disney Imagineering. She co-leads the global multidisciplinary team behind the creation of theme parks, attractions, resorts, cruise ships, entertainment experience, etc., etc. She joined in 2020, and she led Imagineering during a period of tremendous growth. She was a Chapek hire, I think. During her tenure, Imagineers have brought a number of experiences to life, including Adventures Campus at Disneyland Paris and California Adventure and the Disney Wish and Cosmic Rewind and the Light Cycle Run. Now, some of these, to be fair, were announced before she was even there. Guardians of the Galaxy was announced before she was there. Light Cycle Run was announced before she was there. The Disney Wish was announced before she was there. A lot of these things she just came in and kind of got put in charge of, but she was not a driving force behind the projects initially. Basically, she worked in a very corporate setting. Before she was at Disney, she was co-managing director for Gensler Los Angeles. So very, very corporate in her design. And we're going to talk about that because a lot of people don't like that when it comes to Disney, because when you go to Disney, you want to be in the magic with Disney. And some of her choices and the things that she led projects on of late have not been very Disney. Now, Bruce Vaughn, who is replacing her, came back last year. People were very excited because he was with Disney Imagineering for like 30 years. He left in 2016, and he became the CEO and CCO of a Los Angeles-based VR firm. He did some other work, and then he returned to the Walt Disney Company last year, so they went and got him back. He was joining Boza as part of Damaro's senior leadership team. And he's thrilled to join Barbara and reunite in this phenomenal global team of creators, innovators during this pivotal time. And this was March 7th it was announced. He started March 20th of 2023. And now by March 9th, I think it was not 9th or 8th, he is now replacing Barbara Bouza. And how people found out about it was because she put on Instagram, "I'm proudly building upon our extraordinary legacy. Imagineers are shaping the future that inspires humanity. As one global team of innovative creators and storytellers, we immerse our guests in experiences that make memories of a lifetime. As a licensed architect, I was recruited by the Walt Disney Company to challenge the norm." See, this is right here. "To challenge the norm and bring broader global industry perspectives and expertise." You brought her in to challenge the norm and for global industry perspectives and expertise. People go to Disney because they want Disney, okay? Here's what they're mad about. People have been mad about. Carousel Coffee was her. It looks like a corporate coffee shop, any coffee shop you'd see. Look at people in the suits. Any coffee shop you'd see in a city, on a city street. You're at Disney. You want a Disney. Carousel Coffee, you would think it'd be like brightly colored, carousel horses. Disney. No. This is it. Inside the Magic is one who brought this up, and I have to agree. Pop Century. This is a Pop Century redesign. there's some Mickeys on the wall, but this is the redesign of the rooms, the pop century. The pop century, which is supposed to be themed to, the decades and the pop culture, and it's very bright and colorful, and they have these giant oversized, here you can see them, like there's a giant oversized, foosball table and the Mickey phone, and we used to stay behind the Mickey phone all the time. All these big, larger than life pop culture icons, are at that resort. The rooms, they needed updating. I'm not going to say they didn't. But you went from bright, colorful, iconic to this. This looks like just a room you'd get in some, cheap hotel. That was supposed to be one of those ones that look how hipster we are, but you get to pay $400 a night. That's what it looks like to me. People were not happy. They're like, this is boring AF. Why is this room in this hotel? So she was definitely coming from a place of, more simplistic, more streamlined, more modern. It sounds like they hired her for that reason, because her own comments, she's saying that she was brought in to challenge the norm. All right. She joined Walt Disney Imagineering in June 2020. I truly believed humanity needed Disney more than ever. So you strip the Disney out of Disney. The world was trying to understand the impact of a global pandemic, business disruption, stay-at-home orders, a reckoning on race. Oh my God, here we go. And the growing political divide. Well, she would be brought in. Okay, so she was brought in June 2020. June 2020. Around the time, June 25th, 2020, they announced that we're going to have the new Princess and the Frog overlay with Splash Mountain. Just as she comes in, that's announced. This is all announced, and it was all the big thing because they were trying to bait. They've been trying to put this in for years. They were banking on how does she refer to it as? The reckoning on race. They were trying to bank on that to make changes. So she just happened to show up at the same time this stuff happened. But, I'm sure it was completely coincidental. And the growing political divide. From there, Imagineers endured the pressures of talent reductions, unprecedented hyper-escalation on projects. That is true. Political crosshairs. Okay, okay. And the need to make life-changing decisions with their families around relocation from California to Florida. Okay, so Disney was going to have a campus at Lake Nona in in Orlando area for Walt Disney World. They were going to move Imagineering to Florida. And what really happened that was kind of shitty was that they basically were told they were going to have to move. So Imagineers some of them already agreed. They went to Florida, got housing, were ready to go. And then they decided they were going to undo that choice. Other Imagineers quit because they didn't want to move to Florida. So they just up and quit because they're like, I don't even want to be put in that position. And then they decided to walk it back because they used the whole political crosshairs of the parental education, rights in Florida bill. And they tried to use that. They had the protests, which most of the people that showed up at protests were in California and were not impacted by the Orlando area. And because of that, they decided to scrap Lake Nona. And then they turned around and said they scrapped it because of DeSantis, but they were already scrapping it. They weren't really moving forward on it. It had been sitting there with plans forever. And I think it was to save money, honestly. So they're bringing that up. Through all of this, Imagineers relentlessly created and delivered some of the most impactful projects in the history of the Walt Disney Company. What impactful projects? Tron, that was a rehash of Shanghai, and it was announced before you were there. And the Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind is amazing. It's completely new, brand new ride system. All of that, though, again, was in place and going on before she was there. I'm trying to think what else that she could have been part of that is changing everything and being amazing. There's a bunch of new meet and greets. The Epcot thing that kind of got scaled back, and then they're trying to fix it. That was announced before she was there. The new announcements recently where they're just trying to razzle dazzle people, but it's a lot of just overlays on existing attractions. I'm not understanding what the most impactful projects in the history of the Walt Disney Company are. I mean, maybe for the other countries and I don't know, whatever. Talking out of their ass, it sounds like. This success has fueled the turbocharged growth of Disney experiences through $60 billion investment over the next 10 years that Bob Iger and Josh D'Amaro speak of, but never elaborate on. As it was pointed out by Jay Rizzullo, guests don't get excited by saying we're spending $60 billion in 10 years. That's only $6 billion a year. And how much of that is just the upkeep? It's probably the same thing as your upkeep money. So that's not a whole lot year over year for as many parks as they have, right? And they're not really announcing anything exciting and new, announcing that new land, especially where Dinoland USA was, but it's just a re-theme of the dinosaur attraction in Indiana Jones, which exists already in Disneyland. And then it looks like a carousel, which is cheap. And then it looks like a house that's going to be put there from Encanto, but I'm not sure if it's an attraction or just, I'm not sure what it's there for, because the one building looks like it has a ride building on it is where like the restaurant is now, where Restaurantosaurus is. So it looks like they just threw it together. And then we know with the D23, people were mad because they basically said, these are our what ifs. What if we did this? What if we did that? But there was nothing concrete. What we do know that's concrete is we're going to have the, Frozen expansions and stuff overseas. That's concrete. We're going to have the Zootopia land. They have the Zootopia land concrete. Over here, at least in Orlando, what has been concrete is they added new movies to Star Tours. They're going to add that on April 5th, I think. And they're going to tie them into Disney Plus shows. Whoopie ding dong. Country Bear Jamboree is getting taken down so they can put new IP music in it. Hot damn. The Tree of Life is getting a new projection show based on Zootopia. We have The Little Mermaid they're finally reopening the stage for that in Disney's Hollywood Studios, and they're putting a new show in. Who cares? Test Track's supposed to get an overlay that at some point, we don't know when, that's going to be, based somewhat loosely on the original World of Motion attraction. Don't know when, just someday. I mean, for the most part, it's just a bunch of reskins, rethemes, and new DVCs and things like that. Not exactly groundbreaking, turbocharged growth. Disneyland, they're trying to push in some new expansions. And ironically, it was funny because we talked the other day about Bob Iger saying about they're going to put a whole Pandora type Avatar land in. And then the Disney media, the stuff they put out, they walked that back and just said experience. So it's up in the air whether they're going to put a land in or it's just some experience they're going to add because they don't have a whole lot of room over there. Anyway, God, it's just so full of shit. I want to take this moment to personally thank all Imagineers, past, present, and future, for making the impossible possible. It's bittersweet that I wrap up my work as president of Walt Disney Imagineering this month before I create an even bigger impact on the world. So she's not even like giving you a reason. We keep seeing this where people are leaving for, I'm going to go do something entrepreneurial. I'm not sure what my career path is next, but I want to go, I'm so excited because I'm going to go do more of this and more of that. In her case, it's make an even bigger impact on the world, but not saying what that is. So it sounds to me like she's getting her ass removed. I mean, I don't know that, but all the usual flags we see, you suddenly are getting gone. Somebody was brought in, people were excited about to replace you not long before you were gone. And then you're like, oh, I'm going to this nebulous future plans, future endeavors. They're all nebulous. You're not like, I'm not moving to this department. I'm not getting promoted in Disney. No, it's bigger impact on the world. Can't wait for more boring coffee shops and hotel rooms. WDI will be an excellent hands with my partner, Bruce Vaughn, Chief Creative Officer, who is an exceptional creative leader. There's really no secret about our approach. He quotes Disney, we keep moving forward, opening new doors and doing new things because we're curious. Yeah, so she's getting gone. They're bringing Bruce Vaughn and putting him in charge. They brought him back last year. He wasn't even been there a year, and they're already putting him in charge. He was working with her, and now he's going to take over her position. No word on where she's going. But I do know that some of her recent things that she was in charge of were boring and people complained about them. Things that she's mentioning that are exciting and new that she was involved in weren't heard. She just came in and was put into those positions. And it is what it is. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know if Disney's walking it back. They wanted to change the norm, and then they realized that changing the norm is probably bad because when you go to Disney, you're a Disney park, you're expecting Disney at the Disney park. Who knows? But she's getting gone for whatever reason. I'm not sure to where. Some people speculated she's moving someplace else in the company, but I think she would say, oh, I'm move someplace else in the company, and she's not saying that. So what do you think? Please comment and let us know, and we will talk to you later. Goodbye.